The young woman thought she was just out for a walk, but the figure approaching her in the darkness had other plans. She ran breathlessly, her phone trembling in her hand, but the number she was calling belonged to her father's old unit buddies from a battlefield 15 years ago. 20 minutes later, 6 black SUVs appeared in the heart of the city. Because some promises don't end with death. If you believe a father's love protects even from beyond the grave, hit like, type, brotherhood in the comments, and subscribe because this story proves that some bonds are stronger than death itself. Most people in downtown Portland walked past Emma Chen without a second glance. At 23, she was just another college student heading home after her evening shift at the campus library. Brown hair tied back in a messy bun, worn sneakers, and a backpack full of textbooks. Nothing special, nothing that screamed target, but Emma carried something most people didn't know about. In her wallet, tucked behind her student ID, was a faded military photo. Staff Sergeant David Chen, 2nd Battalion, 1st Marines. Her father, killed in action in Fallujah, Iraq when she was just 8 years old. The photo showed him with his squad, arms around each other's shoulders, smiling despite the desert heat behind them. On the back, written in his careful handwriting, "My brothers, always watching over my little girl." Emma had memorized every face in that photo. She knew their names, their stories, their families. They'd stayed in touch over the years, sending birthday cards, graduation gifts, always checking in. But she hadn't called any of them in months. College, work, life, it all got in the way. That Thursday evening felt different. The October air had a bite to it, and the streetlights cast longer shadows than usual. Emma left the library at 9:47 p.m., same as always. She took her usual route down Morrison Street, past the closed shops and empty bus stops. She didn't notice the figure following her at first. He stayed far enough back, matching her pace, stopping when she stopped. By the time she reached the darker section near the old warehouse district, her instincts kicked in. Emma had learned to trust those instincts. Her father had taught her that even as a child. Listen to that voice in your head, sweetheart. It's kept me alive more times than I can count. She quickened her pace. The footsteps behind her quickened too. Her heart started racing. Emma pulled out her phone, pretending to text while actually opening the camera app. In the black screen's reflection, she saw him clearly for the first time. Tall, maybe 6'2", wearing a dark hoodie pulled low over his face. His hands were shoved deep in his pockets and he was gaining on her. Fast. Emma broke into a run. Behind her, she heard the footsteps turn into a sprint. No more pretending, no more games. This was real. "Hey!" The voice was harsh, aggressive. "Stop running, girl!" Emma's mind raced as fast as her feet. The main street was still 3 blocks away, too far. The parking garage entrance was ahead, but that would trap her. Think, Emma. Think like Dad taught you. She ducked into an alley, pressing herself against the brick wall. Her breathing was loud, too loud. The footsteps slowed, then stopped. He was listening, trying to figure out where she'd gone. "I know you're in there," he called out. "Just come out. I'm not gonna hurt you. Much." The laugh that followed made Emma's blood run cold. This wasn't a random mugging. This was something worse, something planned. She fumbled for her phone, hands shaking so hard she could barely unlock it. 911 was the obvious choice. But something made her pause. Maybe it was the photo of her father in her wallet. Maybe it was the memory of all those stories he'd told her about his brothers in arms. Emma scrolled through her contacts until she found it. A number she'd never called but had memorized years ago. Master Sergeant Rodriguez, her father's squad leader. The man who'd carried her father's body to safety. The man who'd promised at the funeral that he'd always be there for her. Her finger hovered over the call button. Would he even answer? It was almost 10 p.m. Would he remember her? Would he care? The footsteps were getting closer. Emma hit call. The phone rang once, twice, 3 times. Come on, she thought. Please. Emma? The voice was gruff, surprised but instantly alert. Emma Chen, is that you? Uncle Mike, she whispered, using the name she'd called him as a child. I need help. Someone's following me. I think he wants to hurt me. The change in Rodriguez's voice was immediate. Gone was the sleepy confusion. This was the voice of a Marine who'd led men into combat. Where are you? Exactly where are you? Downtown Portland, Morrison Street, near the old warehouse district. I'm hiding in an alley, but he's close. He's looking for me. Stay on the line. Stay quiet. I'm making some calls. How many? Just one, I think. But Uncle Mike, I'm scared, really scared. Listen to me, Emma. You're David Chen's daughter. You're a Marine's daughter. You've got warrior blood in your veins. You're going to be okay. We're coming. In the background, Emma could hear Rodriguez shouting orders to someone. Get Santos on the line and Williams and call the Portland boys. We've got a situation. The footsteps stopped right outside her hiding spot. Emma held her breath, pressed the phone closer to her ear. Rodriguez's voice was still there, solid and reassuring. Emma? You still there? Yes, she breathed. Good. Help is coming. Your dad's watching over you right now, and so are we. The man in the hoodie stepped into the alley. Emma could see his face now, mid-30s, stubbled jaw, eyes that reflected the streetlight like an animal's. He was smiling, but it wasn't friendly. There you are, he said, voice low and threatening. Thought you were clever, didn't you? Running into a dead end. Emma pressed herself further against the wall. The phone was still connected, still in her hand. She could hear Rodriguez's voice faintly telling her to stay calm, that help was coming. Please, she said, voice barely a whisper. I don't have much money, but you can have what I've got. The man laughed. Money? You think this is about money? He took a step closer. No, sweetheart. This is about something else entirely. Emma's mind raced. What did he mean? She was nobody special, just a college student, Then it hit her. The military sticker on her car, the Marine Corps emblem on her keychain, the small flag pin on her backpack. Someone had been watching her, learning about her. You're one of them, aren't you? The man continued. Military family, think you're better than everyone else, think you're heroes. Another step closer, Emma could smell cigarettes and alcohol on his breath. My brother came back from Afghanistan all messed up. Couldn't get help. Couldn't get a job. You know what happened to him? He ate a bullet, while people like your daddy got parades and medals. Emma's fear mixed with anger. My father died protecting people like you. Your father died for nothing, the man's voice rose, and now you're going to learn what real sacrifice looks like. The sound started as a low rumble like distant thunder, but it grew louder, more distinct, the unmistakable sound of heavy vehicles moving fast through city streets. The man in the hoodie paused, tilting his head. What the hell? Emma smiled for the first time since the chase began. She knew that sound. She'd heard it in a dozen movies, 100 stories. That was the sound of Marines coming to the rescue. The first black SUV rounded the corner with tires squealing. Then another, and another. 6 vehicles in total, each one filled with men who'd sworn an oath to leave no one behind. The man backed away from Emma, his confidence evaporating. This can't be. Car doors slammed shut with military precision. Boots hit the pavement. Emma counted 12 men, all moving with the coordinated efficiency of a unit that had trained together for years. Master Sergeant Rodriguez stepped forward, older now than in the photos, gray streaking his hair but still carrying himself like the warrior he'd always been. Behind him, Emma recognized other faces from her father's funeral. Santos, Williams, Chen from another unit who'd taken her father's name as an honor. "Emma," Rodriguez called out, "you okay?" She nodded, still pressed against the wall, still holding the phone. Rodriguez turned to the man in the hoodie. "You picked the wrong girl to mess with, son." The man tried to run. He made it exactly 3 steps before Santos tackled him to the ground. No brutality, no unnecessary force, just the efficient neutralization of a threat. Within minutes, the alley was filled with the calm efficiency of professionals handling a situation. 2 of the Marines had the attacker secured and were waiting for Portland PD to arrive. Others were checking the perimeter, making sure there were no other threats. Rodriguez approached Emma slowly, hands visible, voice gentle. "You did good, kid. Real good. Your dad would be proud." Emma finally left the wall, legs still shaking. "How did you get here so fast? How did you know where to find me?" "GPS on your phone for starters, plus we've been keeping an eye on you for years. Your dad made us promise." Rodriguez smiled, and for a moment Emma saw the man who'd been her father's best friend. "We've got guys in every major city, Seattle, San Francisco, Denver, Phoenix, all of us watching out for our fallen brothers' families." Williams approached, carrying a blanket. "Here, Emma, you're shaking." She wrapped it around her shoulders, feeling the warmth and safety she hadn't felt since her father died. "I can't believe you came, all of you." "That's what we do," Santos said simply. "That's what Marines do." The police arrived then, blue and red lights painting the alley walls. The officers looked confused at first. A dozen men in civilian clothes, military bearing, surrounding a college student and a would-be attacker. Rodriguez handled the explanations with the same calm efficiency he'd shown during the rescue. The man in the hoodie was taken into custody. Emma gave her statement. The Marines provided witness accounts. But through it all, Emma felt something she hadn't experienced in years. The knowledge that she wasn't alone, that somewhere in the world, there were people who would drop everything to help her because of a promise made to a dead soldier. Later, sitting in an all-night diner, Emma learned the full scope of what had just happened. The 12 men around her represented something bigger than a rescue mission. They represented a network, a brotherhood that extended far beyond death. "Your father saved my life in Fallujah," Rodriguez explained, stirring his coffee. "IED went off, took out our Humvee. I was pinned, unconscious. David pulled me out while the whole area was still taking fire." Santos nodded. "He did the same for me in a different firefight. Carried me 2 miles to the evac point with a dislocated shoulder." Emma listened as each man shared a story. Her father, the quiet man who'd read her bedtime stories and taught her to ride a bike, had been a hero to these men. More than that, he'd been family. "When we got word that David was KIA," Williams said, "we made a pact. We'd watch out for you and your mom, always, no matter what." "But I never called," Emma said. "I never asked for help." "Didn't matter," Rodriguez replied. "We were watching anyway. Your high school graduation, I was there. 3 rows back. Your college acceptance. Santos bought you that gift card, not some anonymous scholarship fund. Your mom's surgery 2 years ago, we made sure the bills got paid." Emma felt tears coming. "I thought I was alone. After Dad died and then Mom got sick, I thought I was completely alone." "Never," Rodriguez said firmly. "David Chen's daughter will never be alone. Not while any of us draw breath." The revelation hit Emma like a physical force. She'd spent 15 years thinking she was on her own, struggling through school, working multiple jobs, watching her mother fight cancer. But all along, there had been guardian angels watching over her, It's not just us, Santos explained. There are networks like this all over the country. Marines looking out for Marines' families. Army guys doing the same. Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard. When one of us falls, the others step up. Emma shook her head in amazement. How many families are you watching over? 17 in this region, Rodriguez said. Nationwide, thousands, maybe tens of thousands. Most of them never know we're there. That's how it's supposed to be. Williams pulled out his phone, showing Emma a contact list. Look at this. These are all the guys from your dad's extended unit, guys who served with him, guys who served with guys who served with him. Every single one of them has your number. Every single one would have dropped everything tonight. Emma stared at the screen, dozens of names, dozens of faces, all connected by bonds forged in combat and strengthened by shared loss. But tonight was different, Rodriguez continued. Tonight you needed us, and you reached out. That means something. That means you're ready to know about the network. Santos leaned forward. Your dad left you more than just memories, Emma. He left you a family that spans the entire country, a family that will never let you face anything alone. Emma thought about all the times over the years when things had mysteriously worked out. The scholarship that appeared out of nowhere, the job interview that led to her current position, the rent money that showed up when her mother was too sick to work. That was all you guys. That was all family, Rodriguez corrected. And now you're old enough to understand what that means. As dawn broke over Portland, Emma walked out of the diner with a completely different understanding of her place in the world. The Marines had offered to drive her home, but she'd chosen to walk. She needed time to process what she'd learned. Her phone buzzed with a text from Rodriguez. Your dad's unit is having a reunion next month in San Diego. You're invited. About time you met the whole family. Emma smiled, typing back, I'll be there. Another text, this one from Santos. Proud of you tonight. David would be too. You handled yourself like a Marine. More messages came in throughout the morning. Williams, Chen, others whose names she was still learning. Each one offering support, expressing pride, welcoming her into something she hadn't known existed. But the most important message came from an unknown number. This is Sergeant Patricia Holmes, U.S. Marine Corps. I served with your father in Iraq. I'm currently stationed in Portland. Would you like to meet for coffee? I think it's time you learned about the women in your father's military family, too. Emma stopped walking. Women. Of course there were women. Marines, soldiers, sailors, airmen, all of them connected by the same bonds of service and sacrifice. She typed back, Yes, I'd like that very much. By the time Emma reached her apartment, she had 17 new contacts in her phone. 17 people who'd been watching over her for years, waiting for the day she'd need them. She looked at the faded photo of her father's unit, the one she'd carried in her wallet for 15 years. But now she saw it differently. Those weren't just faces from the past, they were family. Living, breathing, active family. 6 months later. Emma stood in front of a group of Gold Star families at a military support event in Portland. Gold Star families. The families of those who'd paid the ultimate price for their country's freedom. I used to think I was alone, she told the gathered crowd. I used to think that when my father died, I lost the only family I'd ever have. I was wrong. In the audience, she could see Rodriguez, Santos, Williams, and a dozen other Marines who'd become as real to her as any blood relative. Next to them sat Sergeant Holmes and several other female veterans who'd opened their own network to Emma. My father died when I was 8 years old, Emma continued, but his family, his military family, never stopped watching over me. They never stopped caring. They never stopped being there even when I didn't know they were there. She pulled out her phone, showing the crowd her contact list. I have 247 contacts in this phone now. Marines, soldiers, sailors, airmen, Coast Guardsmen, their spouses, their children, their parents. All of them connected by bonds that death cannot break. The audience was quiet, hanging on every word. 3 weeks ago, I got a call from a young woman in Seattle. Her father was killed in Afghanistan. She was scared, alone, didn't know how she was going to pay for college. I flew up there that weekend, not because I had to, but because that's what family does. Emma smiled, thinking about Sarah, the 19-year-old who'd cried in her arms at the Seattle airport. I told her what my Uncle Mike told me 6 months ago. You're never alone. You're a warrior's daughter, and warriors' daughters look out for each other. As Emma finished her speech, the audience rose to their feet. But she wasn't looking at them. She was looking at the photo on her phone, the same faded military photo she'd carried for 15 years, but now surrounded by hundreds of new photos, new faces, new stories, new family. That night, Emma's phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. This is Private Jennifer Walsh, U.S. Army. I'm being deployed to Afghanistan next month. I'm scared. I heard you might understand. Emma smiled, typing back. I understand completely. And you're not alone. None of us are alone. Welcome to the family. Outside her window, the city lights of Portland twinkled like stars. Somewhere out there in cities across America, other military families were watching over each other. Other promises were being kept. Other bonds were proving stronger than death itself. Because some promises don't end with death. They multiply, they spread, they become something bigger than any one person could ever imagine. And somewhere in the darkness, Emma could almost hear her father's voice. That's my girl, that's my warrior daughter. The network lived on, the promise continued, and Emma Chen, daughter of Staff Sergeant David Chen, had finally come home. If you believe that some bonds are stronger than death itself, comment Brotherhood below. Share this story and subscribe for more tales that honor the unbreakable bonds of military families. Because no one fights alone, and no one grieves alone.